Cartoons, they've been around for a very long time, and I really like them, as many other people do. But why is that? Why do we like cartoons so much? Well, you'll have to wait to find out. Fun fact, did you know that Sega Saturns actually were the first consoles to use CDs instead of cartridges? Well, now you know. And that's a pretty cool fact considering that not a lot of people, well, know that. So, yeah, you know that information now and you're probably going to forget it in like a day or two or something. Or hey, maybe you will remember it. So, let's get back to our regular station programming. Cartoons, they're very awesome. We've gotten good classics like SpongeBob, and we've also got stuff like the Fairly Odd Parents, and we got stuff like Ben 10, Danny Phantom, Adventure Time, Regular Show, all these amazing cartoons that have built our childhoods or adulthoods and stuff that is pretty awesome. But what makes cartoons so fascinating, especially compared to anime? I would always say that cartoons are like Western anime, and that's kind of it. Anime is just kind of the Japanese cartoons, so with a different art style of stuff. But enough about that. What makes cartoons so amazing? Well, cartoons are practically limitless, like video games are. You can practically put whatever you want in it, for good or bad. Trust me, a lot of cartoons in the 1930s had a lot of stuff in it that would not fly in today's day and age. What different cartoon styles are there? Well, there are the standard cartoons that have absolutely no plot whatsoever every episode. You know, like there's, hey, this character lost his dog, and then a giant fish came out of the sky and decided to devour the entire world, and then the universe got erased by a weird alien species, and then he had to actually use a frying pan, which was actually an ancient artifact from the gods back in the ancient times. And then he had to at least fight this deity entity, and then everything returns back to normal, and then the next episode everybody forgets what even happened, and it's not even mentioned ever again. You know, those kind of episodes. The pretty standard episodes of they're trying to walk a dog, and then a zombie apocalypse happens and kills everybody. You know, just standard cartoon shenanigans. And then we have the storyline cartoons. The ones that have story, like Avatar. And, and Invincible too. Regular Show was more of a mix of both. It was like, at first it was like just goofy fun, but then it started to embrace story into that goofy fun, so I guess you can make arguments that it was both. And Adventure Time, well, I think it always had a story. It just was starting off more lighthearted, and it got more, serious down the road. So it was kind of, that cool stuff. Oh, and Samurai Jack. Obviously, that is a storyline cartoon. There's no weird tune physics shenanigans of people's eyeballs, popping out comedically when they scream very loud, and them literally walking on thin air until they look down and then they look at the camera and then they fall. That kind of stuff. It's not really that kind of story. And that's what makes cartoons so fascinating. They can pretty much do anything. And that sometimes can be a good or bad thing, as I mentioned before. But what are other things that make cartoons so fascinating and so cool? Well, I'd like to think that characters in cartoons are pretty cool. Though, you can make the argument that kind of applies to really any media that's ever existed. You know, you like a character in a certain media. I mean, I am a Clifford stan myself. I have to love the big guy, and it makes me sad that I'll never be able to see him dig big bones ever again from the tundras. But, you know, it's neither here or there. But back on topic, we also have to think, what cartoon characters do we like the most? I can think of a few, like, you know, Finn and Jake, SpongeBob and Patrick, you know, all Samurai Jack. We can also, like, insert people like, you know, Timmy Turner and stuff, and Danny Fenton. Is it Fenton? Oh yeah, it's definitely good. Yeah, Danny Fenton. The other thing that makes cartoons so amazing is that it's just imagination runs wild. You know? Imagination just runs wild when you're watching cartoons, especially as a kid. When your brain is the size of a raisin and your IQ is probably below that of a rock, you just have stupid fun and are drooling with your eyes crossed on either side of your head, and you literally just stare at the screen with obliviousness as your parents literally are yelling in the background and probably filing divorce papers. But what do you guys think? Do you like cartoons? Did you like my 1 hour, 2,000 year rant about random stuff that your brain probably exploded because of the random stuff that I've been spewing, and probably makes you feel like Elon Musk? Comment down below, you know, like, what was cool about my rant, and did you get any of it? And did you not just die of brain damage from literally the stupid stuff that I've been spewing out of my mouth, you know? But this is Chris from Let's Talk Franchises, and this is me signing out. Bye.